Welcome back to Java with Anjali. In today's video, we are going to solve Leetcode problem 486 predict the winner using dynamic programming with space optimization. So, the given problem is integer array nums. Two players are playing a game with this array player 1 and player 2. The player 1 and player 2 take turns with the player 1 starting first and both players start the game with score of 0. At each turn the player take one of the numbers from either end of the array or which is reduce the size of the array by 1. The players adds the chosen number of their score. The games end when there are no more elements in the array. So return true if player 1 can win the game. If the score of both players are equal, then player 1 is still the winner. And you should also return true. You may assume that both players are playing optimally. So the given input is 1 1 comma 5 comma 2. So initially player 1 can choose between 1 and 2. If he is choose 2 or 1, then player 2 can choose from 1 or 2 and 5. If the player 2 choose 5, then player 1 will be left to the with 1. So the final score of the player 1 is 1 plus 1, 1 plus 2 is equal 3, and player 2 is score 5. So here uh, player 1 player 1 will be never the winner. So it is written the false. Now let's understand second example. So here given nums is 5 1 5 2 double 3 comma 7. Player 1 first to choose 1, and after player has chosen the 5 and again uh, 7. So no matter which number player 2 chosen, the player 1 can choose 2 double 3. So finally the player 1 has more score 3 5 4 and player 2 is 12. So it is written the true because player 1 is win here. So now let understanding the code. So initially variable, first we store the size of array is m, and then we create one dimensional dp array. Now many people get confused here. This dp array is not storing the maximum score. Instead the dp j stores the maximum score difference between the current and opponent for the current subarray. In other side, the dpi the current player score minus opponent score. So if the value is positive, the player is current player is winning. If the negative, the opponent has advantage. And so the outer loop, let's understand the why we are moving backward. Imagine we have solving every possible subarray. We first solve the array of the length 1, then length 2 and length 3, and finally the complete the array. After iterating from right to left, all the small subproblem required to calculations are already available. And whether here the only one number is the subarray. The current player is simply pick up the number, so the score different exactly value. So example, if the subarray is 7, the current player gets 7, opponent gets 0. So score difference become 7. That wise we initialize dpi is equal nums I. And step number 4, the why we are take here in inner loop. So now we are increase the size of the subarray. So every subarray for I to j, the current player has exactly two choice. Either pick up the first element or pick up the last element. Let's calculate both. So player 1 nums I minus dpj. Suppose the current player pick up the first element, he immediately earn the minus nums I. So the after this move, the opponent start playing remaining subarray. Since both player play optimally, the component's best possible score difference is already stored inside dpj. So our final advantage become current gain minus component advantage. What is exactly dpi dpj? So now pick up the right element. Now suppose we pick up the last element, we gain nums I, and the best advantage is stored. So num the dp I minus j. And next one here, next to step is the since both players always play optimally, we can simply choose the move that given larger score difference. So if picking the left element given the better advantage, so we can choose that. Otherwise we pick up the right element, the result is stored back to dpj. So we are updating the same dp array. That wise after that we return the dp. So after both the loop finish, the last element of dp array represents the score difference for the entire array. If the value is greater than or equal to 0, the player 1 can either win or at least